KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Pinky's Plumbing Studio, you're in the men's room. Text the guys at 206-803-ROCK.
Passengers on a Friday night Delta flight to Portland ended up with a story most birth plans don't cover. About a half an hour before Flight 478 landed at Portland International Airport, a woman identified only as Ashley went into labor. Airline witnesses said two off-duty Oregon EMTs, friends Tina Fritz and Karen Powell, happened to be on the flight from Atlanta to Portland. They're coming back from vacation when a call went out over the intercom for medical help. Then the steward came up to us and he goes, "Hey, we have a lady up front who thinks she's going into labor. Contractions are about 3 minutes apart. Can you guys check this out?" Well, lacking the kits or blankets or any of that, they improvised with items from passengers and flight attendants' shoelaces before helping Ashley deliver with just a few pushes. Paramedics waiting on the ground were there, and they were updated on the situation. The baby, they found out, had been delivered on the aircraft. So they're going to be coming in with a baby delivered. Both are doing fine at this time, according to the pilot. The plane touched down around 10 o'clock in the evening with the cabin erupting in cheers. Once-in-a-lifetime experience, actually. Delta thanks the crew and the medical volunteers and said, "We wish the new family all the best." So,
but what if the EMTs hadn't been there? Right? I mean, I'm not saying it would be impossible, but for most of us, our knowledge is tied to primetime TV. Yeah, that's all I know. Like, look, man, and I've been in the room. Watching both of my kids be born, but again, without access to drugs or the medical know-how, like, look, this is what I'm going to tell you. I don't know where you're dilated. Just keep pushing. When we see a head, we're doing the right thing. I don't know. There's nothing else I can do.
Well, for thousands of years, that's how it was done.
Sure.
So
I just don't want to be the guy.
Yeah, it can be done.
But I'm going to say our birth rate had to be lower back then.
It happened to my friend, right? Like, his wife was big on, like, no drugs, want to do kind of like a natural birth.
Okay.
So they had, like, a midwife and stuff. So, like, the first one was fine. Let's say it was in the city. Second one, they live outside the city now. And, like, she just gives birth very quickly, I guess.
All right.
So, like, they kind of know stuff's going on. My buddy's kind of getting the bag ready. They're going to call the birth center. And then he goes in there. She's obviously dilating. And I'm not talking out of school. This was his line. There's a lot going on there. So he has to call basically the midwife. And they got to walk him through birthing his own kid.
That's what I mean. There's when you visually see it, like, all we know is, oh my God, my water broke. 2 minutes later, there's a baby and some stranger delivered it. Like, that's just not how it works. I cannot explain. And ladies, look, even if you've given birth, unless you had a mirror down there, you just can't see what your good stuff's doing.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like the dinosaur breaking out of the egg in Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah.
Then it looks like Louis Armstrong's about to blow into a trumpet or whatever. And then finally a head pops out. But there's a lot of things happening down there.
You said you learned everything about what you know to give birth on network TV.
That is correct.
That's not.
I need towels with hot water.
That's not what happened to me. That was not my experience. So I don't know if this is just a universal thing. They've only made one birthing video in the history of
I saw the
birthing
same one.
Educational videos.
Redhead lady.
Very redheaded.
Everywhere.
Right? I mean, okay.
Good
so,
God.
all right.
It looked like Elmo vomited a baby when they got to the end of that.
This might be like the first or second Lamaze class. Like you just kind of just getting your feet in the water on this thing.
Yeah.
They show you this video, and it is a stock video again. I think they only have one of these things, and she is the example.
Yeah.
All right? And I cannot tell you what I saw in that video. If you've been in that class, you know what you saw.
You were surprised. I did not know.
I know what I saw.
Yeah, look.
Now I'm terrified.
I'm right there with you in the sense of you kind of watch her progress through her pregnancy, but at the end, spoiler alert, she gives birth to a baby. But they don't edit anything, right? So she can't explain.
We could explain.
I don't want to be that guy.
No,
right?
I don't either.
So I'm sitting in the class, same thing. There's maybe 6 couples in there, and we're all watching intently. But when the closing scene shows up, and there's kind of the unexpected visual there, me and I do remember one other guy. I remember the clothes he was wearing. Our eyes locked.
Oh yeah,
we had a full conversation of 1 second looking at each other like,
yeah,
that's a lot.
And basically,
that is a lot.
And you're sitting. Well, at least when I watched the video. you're sitting with your legs spread behind your wife or your significant other, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of behind her and holding the belly and all this, and all the women are watching this thing and they're kind of just smiling and watching the beauty of nature. Every guy in there is like he's watching like the Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
I mean, it was two different viewings from two different perspectives, and everybody in there is just like all the dudes are like, whoa, whoa, and other women are like, ah.
And listen, the whoa, again, it's not about the actual process of giving birth.
No.
That was not like, oh my God.
Had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Baby boy made his grand entrance in the world in the parking lot of the Corner Bible Church in Allegan, Michigan, in the back seat of the family's car. Everett Summerix was born weighing 10 pounds, 9 ounces. 10 fingers, 10 toes. His mother, Jamie, said the birth was not exactly what she had planned. So, in the car, actually, back seat of a car. On the way to the hospital, Piper said it became clear that Everett would not wait. I was like, yep, you're going to have to call somebody. So we called 911. A firefighter arrived on the scene before other responders. It was the firefighter who made it there first, she said. There was a tractor that was slowing everyone else down, so no one could get there. By the time the firefighter reached the car, the delivery was already underway. When he opened up the back door, his head was already out, according to Piper. She said she hopes to track down the firefighter to express her gratitude. We actually are working on putting together a thank you basket for him. Gee, thank you.
Here you go.
Here's a basket. Some apples. For Piper, the experience was one she'll never could have anticipated and never imagined giving birth in a car. As for the future of little Everett, his mother has a thought. I think it'd be cool if he grew up and he wanted to be a firefighter.
Well, at least until he's 6, he'll want to be.
So our question, what made the birth of someone memorable? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
Okay, my story is I had a 20-minute notice before my daughter was born. And it goes like this. I had an on and off girlfriend, and one night I kind of booted her out of my bed because she was complaining about back issues. And her mom lived a couple blocks away.
Wait, did you say you kicked her out of your bed because she was complaining about back issues?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, we get along great now. It's fine. I was in a bad mood, kind of hungover, whatever. But the long road to the small house is, I got a call from her mom who lives like 5 blocks away, and she said, are you sitting down? I was like, no, I'm trying to sleep. She said, homegirl's going into labor. I was like, well, I'm a polite person, so I ran over there. The ambulance was taking off. I knocked on the door and hopped in the ambulance, threw her in the first room. I was like, what is that coming out of her business? It was this big black thing, and it was my kid.
What else did you think it might be? Mm-hmm. Is that an otter? I mean, like, of course it's your kid.
Did you not know she was pregnant?
No, nobody knew. She didn't tell anybody. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, surprise.
That's different.
Damn.
That was the weirdest day of my life, I think.
I had 9 months to prepare, and it was weird. I can't imagine someone springing it on me. Hey, in 20 minutes, you can be a dad.
Now, was your baby healthy?
Yes, and they were freaking out about the toes. They were like, oh, he's got all the toes and the fingers. Yep. She was just perfectly healthy, all good.
All right.
She was about the size of a soup can, like 4 pounds, something.
Oh, wow. That's tiny.
That sounds about right. So she was in the NICU for a while then, right? Or the PICU, or whichever one it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one.
She was in the hospital for a while, right?
Yeah, we stayed there for a few days and all that, and they sent us off with the new kid, and But she's graduating this week, and she's got a full ride scholarship to the UW. So everything.
Nice.
Wow, nice. Very cool.
All right.
How about that? You don't have to pay for it. Did you save up for her college?
Sorry.
All right. Okay.
Man, that is save up for everything. Just if you have kids, just save for everything. Just save for everything. I will say, with my 2 kids, just the way their birth process was so different. My daughter, and it's funny because somehow you feel like it makes sense to this day, in spite of all the years that have passed. But my daughter, we did not expect it to be complicated. And it was going smooth. My wife's on an epidural. And in fact, she was in such a good mood that I could watch college football without her complaining too much. I just remember USC was playing. It was on the screen. I'm like, not so bad. Pretty peaceful. Even my wife's chill. So you get to this point where they're like, hey, man, your daughter's coming. I'm like, all right. You're nervous, but this is what you've been waiting for. basically, you come out head first. And so I'm getting excited because I see the top of her head. Right? She's got a little tuft of hair up there. I'm like, sweet. Stayed that way for like an hour.
Oh, really?
Right. We're like, because you can see the nurses start giving each other that look. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to say anything. I'm like, you might as well, because I can see by the way you're looking at each other. This isn't normal, because the kid should have breached at this point. Because, again, we can see the top of her head. And my wife's pushing, and just nothing's working. And that's what makes it worse. My wife, she does everything can. She pushes this kid out, but the kid's just not coming out. So you're still in pain. And basically, it's like, I don't know, getting your foot trapped in a car door or something. Like, why won't this kid just get out of there? What is going on? Doctors can't figure it out. They finally had to kind of massage my wife's belly to push my daughter out. And then when my daughter pops out, she's not crying, and she's gray. So immediately, like, I just go into tunnel vision. The doctor, who's obviously seen this thing a million times before, dead calm. He's holding up my daughter. Keep in mind, is kind of limp and still not crying. And he's like, big smile, like, here's the problem right here. She's got the cord wrapped around her neck. I'm like, get the effing cord off.
Jesus.
Right.
Found it.
Yeah, but that's what he said. He's like, oh, keep in mind, he's holding this gray baby, like pointing with a smile. Like, yeah, that's what took so long. So basically, the umbilical cord was acting like a snare.
All right.
So as my wife's trying to push the kid out, the cord is wrapped around the neck, so the cord is preventing the baby from leaving the vagina. But you don't know that until after the kid's born. And like I said, so now my kid pops out after waiting far too long for this, not crying, and I'm just like, oh my God. Doctor with the big smile. He unwraps the cord, man, slaps her back, and she pretty much hasn't been quiet since then. That was 15 and a half years ago. And she also had a cone head. So, all right, so a lot of babies are born with a cone head for obvious reasons. But because her head was where it was for so long, I mean, like, it was noticeable, man. So, again, I just glanced at the doctor. Actually, it was the nurse. She's like, listen, it'll go away. I'm like, I've heard that. Are you sure? I'm like, that thing, like, comes to a point. She's like, it will go away. Just relax. I'm like, I just don't want a cone-headed baby. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I love her and all that, but, man, I can't defend her for bullies when your head's shaped like a cone. It takes, like, 2 days. It all smoothed out. And then my son, when my son's born, a year and a half later, we're kind of prepared for something to not go wrong, but, whatever you want to call that with the cord wrapped around the neck. Brother was just trying to break out of the womb. It got to the point where I was about to stick my hand in there and push him back in, because the way it works, you have to have the doctor in the room when the baby's born. You're going to have 400 nurses, but if there's no doctor, it becomes this big legal thing. Not for us, but there's all this paperwork you have to sign, et cetera, et cetera. So my son's born, there's one doctor on duty, but we're in a maternity place, so obviously he's delivering other babies. The one nurse who's in there with us, she's like, look, I can do it. I'm completely qualified, but legally, you'd have to fill out all this paperwork. She's like, I'll try. And she goes, it's no big deal, but I just want to try to get the doctor in there because they want you to sign the paperwork before the kid pops out. But the way this kid's going, man, like, we don't have time. So I now see his head. And like I said, in my mind, I'm like, crap, because the doctor's not in there. I'm serious. I put my hand on top of his head and just shove it back in you, baby. Which, of course, my wife did not think was funny. But I didn't know. I'm like, man, what do we do? Basically, the doctor finally walks into the room. And when the doctor walks in, the kid just fell out. I mean, basically, the doctor did nothing. He walked, and it's nothing against him. It's just the timing. He walked in, kid pops out, but because he was physically in the room, it's all good.
Yeah. You know what I don't get?
That happens more often than you think.
It's the second one. It's the second one.
I was going to say, not just with kids, but with, like, doctors. Like, the first time I dislocated my knee, by the time I saw the doctor, he's like, oh, it's back in there. Because the x-ray guy had pushed my knee down and popped it in. It's like the doctor still gets the credit, but it's it's already kind of done.
Nothing against the guy, but I'm like, that nurse, I wish I knew her name. Like, man, props to her. She was there.
She did the work.
Through the entire thing, guiding my, because again, with the epidural, my wife's like, hey, man, I cannot feel anything from the waist down, so I don't know what to do. The doctor just said, listen, all you have to do, she's like, you know how to poop, right? My wife's like, well, of course. She goes, just use those same muscles. Use those same muscles. Like, you can't feel it, but just trust me. Clench those muscles, and that'll make the baby come out. All I said was, I looked up. Keep in mind, I'm looking directly into this tunnel here. I'm like, baby, you follow directions well. And then I got hit by the nurse. Because before the baby, there was a poop. But the lady literally just said, do it like you have to poop. And I'm like, okay, you knocked that out, man. Keep doing that, but this time work for the baby part. Yeah, it was. Look, man, you get married, you see each other pee, you see each other poop, but I've not.
I don't know. No.
But
I never watched my wife poo.
not watch her, but you open.
Yeah.
I need
I know what
toilet
she's
paper.
doing in there.
You open the door.
Sure,
they're sitting
sure.
on the toilet. That's as far as I needed to go. This was different. This was like, no, I actually
3D.
Why